This is Saturday News. I'm your host, Keith Lander. Here, we're taping out of the Tabernacle Baptist Church studios right here in Dayton, Ohio. And I appreciate all your comments from the last show. Keep those comments going. I'll try to answer them all. I'll try to hit like. I don't care how many I get. I'm going to make sure I read it. I'll make sure I put a like beside it. So keep those coming. I appreciate it. That motivates me to keep the show going and lets me know that people are watching. I appreciate that. Today we have a special guest. We have Dr. Linda Huggins. Welcome, Dr. Huggins.
Thank you.
Dr. Huggins, now you have a doctor's degree, of course, because I just said that. And tell us a little bit about yourself and your doctor's degree, and then we'll take the next question.
Well, again, my name is Linda Huggins, and I've been in education for about 12 years. I've worked in at the collegiate level and also mostly with grades 7 through 12. I have a doctorate in education. It focuses on curriculum instruction and assessment.
Well, see, that's good. Now, let's talk about public schools for just a second. Now, sometimes, do you feel like public schools sometimes get unfairly publicized about some of the bad behavior from some of the students, and it overshadows all the good hard work that the parents, teachers, and students are doing in the public schools?
Absolutely. Working in public school system, we are working with students from various backgrounds, various cultures, and a lot of them come from underserved communities. And statistics show that when you come from poor, underserved backgrounds, you come with a lot of different other things. And being in public schools, we have to find creative ways to deal with some of the things our students come to school with. So we sometimes have to be not only teachers, but counselors, advisors, and anything else that our students need. So I absolutely think we get a bad rap, but it's okay. That comes with the territory.
Yeah, I agree. I'm a product of Dayton Public Schools. Graduated from Belmont in the class of 1981, which was a few years ago, but that's a long time ago. But anyway, now sometimes the parents, they have some issues with maybe a teacher or even an administrator at the school, a principal, whichever. Now I've seen and I've heard some of those parents come up there and they just berate the teacher and the administrator. And what would you suggest in how parents should handle the interactions with the administration and or the teachers dealing with their children?
So first, let me say that a lot of the parents that, a lot of the students of the parents that we serve, the parents are overworked. They might be working 2 and 3 jobs. They might be dealing with issues themselves. Some of them might be dealing with mental health issues. And a lot of times they don't know how to deal with conflicts. So a lot of times they're just tired, and a lot of times when they are tired, those, what happens is they take that out on administrators or teachers. So I would just advise parents to first breathe and just calm themselves before they come up to the school. Try to come up to the school with an open mind, try to listen, and then after they get all the facts, if they feel like their child is being picked on, or they feel like their child is not getting what they need, then try to address the situation in a more calm manner, because when you address a situation in a calm manner, then we're more likely to receive your frustrations. So I just think sometimes parents just need to understand everybody might be frustrated in this situation, and that when they come up to the school, kind of sit in the car, maybe listen to some calming music, something that calms them down, breathe first, and then just come in and try to address this situation with an open mind.
That's some good advice, and I hope you parents out there, I hope you take that advice and consider that, because I think you'll be more effective than going cussing and fussing at the school, because you embarrass yourself and you embarrass the child when you do that, and it's not helpful. So I take Dr. Huggins' advice. Now, Dr. Huggins, I understand you're in the process of trying to open up a school right here in Dayton. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, I can, but let me say one more thing about your last question. I think as employees working in the public school sector, we also need to realize that our parents may not, they may be coming to the school and they may be already stressed because of the different things that go on at home. So we also need to understand that. And if a parent does come, we need to calm ourselves also and kind of let them maybe get what they need to say off the table. We need to stay calm, and then maybe the conversation could go a little smoother. So parents, you need to be calm, and employees, you need to be calm too, and maybe, just maybe, we could find a happy medium. So I'll address your next question. Yes, I am in the process of opening a school. I grew up in Dayton, in Westwood. I went to Westwood Center, to the pools. They used to have Westwood Days. It was a lot going on in Westwood when I was growing up here, and a lot of things have changed, and I feel like coming from an underserved community, it just seems like we continue to be underserved, including in the area of education. And I'm just tired, so I guess instead of complaining about things that I can't change or that people don't want to change, maybe then I can change it a different way. So I would like to, I am in the process of opening a school, and it is going to be on the west side of Dayton. And hopefully I could bring some hope back into our community. It's going to be project-based learning. Students won't learn in a traditional way. They'll be doing projects instead of just sitting and listening to a teacher lecture. We're also looking at holistic teaching, which means we're going to be teaching the whole child. So again, as I stated before, a lot of our students come to school with a lot of things that they don't know how to handle, and we plan to show them how to handle those things when they come to our school.
Well, that sounds great. Now, I know people's ears perked up when you said you're starting at school, and I know there's some teachers out there, educators out there that say, boy, I'd like to help out. Can you give a number where you can be contacted if there's anybody out there who want to, help you out in this endeavor? Yeah,
so they can always go to get more information, first of all, because I know I didn't say too much, and I know in order for people to feel comfortable helping out, they want to get some background information, and I truly understand that. So we do have a Facebook page. It's called The Dayton School. We also have a website, and it's thedaytonschool.org. I can be reached at 937-972-2970. And also, I have an email address, and it's lrhuggins.tds@gmail.com. And if you need any more information on what we're trying to do for this community, just reach out to us. Before you go to your next question, I would like to say that our school, the premise behind our school is that being on the west side of Dayton, it sometimes feels like we sometimes feel hopeless because our stores are shutting down. Grocery stores, movie theaters, pools, all these things are shutting down in our community. So we want to empower our students to not only leave and go to college or go straight to the workforce or go pick up a trade, but also come back and put back into the community and open businesses in our community. We also want to offer after-school programming to adults because we understand that sometimes no matter how much we train our students, no matter how much we show our students, sometimes they go back home and our parents need the same education that they need. So we want to offer after-school programming not only for our students, but our families, counseling, financial awareness, people who are parents, our community members who are just getting out of jail. We want to show them how to transition back into society so they could be more productive. And we just have a lot of programming going on because we not only want to change, we don't only want to change our students' lives, but the lives of our community and of the parents of our students.
Boy, you sound like you're on your way. Now, what age group will this be targeted?
So initially, we wanted to target 7 through 12 grades, 6 through 12 grades, beginning with 6th, 7th, and 8th. However, lately, the board and I have been in a lot of discussion, and we have decided to start with pre-K through 8th grade, so we can kind of get our students young and try to develop their mindset so they have a successful mindset and a growth mindset. So that is the grade we're starting with. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I heard you say you have your board already. You
Yes.
got your board, you got all those people in place, your team together, so y'all working on the plan, is that right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And we're also we also already have our 501(c) status, our nonprofit status. So we've been working really hard trying to get things going.
Okay, so you open for anybody who wants to donate to help with the funding? You already have your 501(c), that's correct?
Yes.
Okay, and they will find that on one of the sites that you gave, the Facebook page and the website?
Yeah, so if you go to the website, there is a donation page. We also not only, we love donations. Let me be clear. But we also want to form partnerships with the community. So when our students begin to get in our upper grades, they can go out into the community and serve and do job shadowing and things of that nature. So any way you can support, anyway, we are happy if you have any knowledge, whatever you want to do. We are going to be a community school, and I mean that. Like, we are centered around the community, and we would love for the community to be involved in our school. So we love donations, but we also love support in different ways.
Yeah, give them that contact information one more time, because sometimes people got to run and go get a pencil and write it down, and we'll put it on the screen. So give them that contact information one more time.
Absolutely. So our website is DaytonSchoolOhio.org. Our Facebook page, Twitter, and the other one, I'm sorry, I'm not a social media person, Instagram, is all three of those is the Dayton School. So really, Facebook is updated more just because I can navigate through that more. And anything you want to find, updates or anything, go to Facebook, and most of the time it automatically goes to Instagram. We also are in the process of putting updates on our website. If you just want to email me, you could email me at lrhuggins.t as in Tom, D as in Dayton, S as in school, TDS@gmail.com, and my phone number is 937-972-2970.
So y'all hit it out there in the viewing audience. Make sure you get on board. These students and these young people are our future, and they need to be educated, and so they can get back to the community. And Dr. Huggins Schools, when it's up and running, I think it's going to lend itself to just that. So get involved. You know, we always talk about it takes a village.
Absolutely.
Well, it takes a village. Now, this is your opportunity to get involved. Either you can donate your time, donate your money, donate some ideas, but get involved, folks. People are doing things in this community like Dr. Huggins is doing, and when I found out she was opening up a school, I said I got to have her on my show, because this is the first time I ever have interviewed someone who's in education who's opened up a school. So get involved. Dr. Huggins, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your board and the people who's working with you. Hopefully you can get the support of this community, and people get involved and donate. So did I forget anything, Dr. Huggins, that you want to bring up that I hadn't brought up yet?
Absolutely not. Nothing. No, you haven't.
That's
I'm
good.
sorry.
That's good.
That was quick. I didn't have
That's
time to
good.
think. But no, you haven't. And I just want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to talk about the things that the Dayton School is trying to do for this community. Thanks for having me. I'm so appreciative and grateful.
Well, I appreciate you, and I'm going to give a suggestion. You know, we got a
Okay.
lot of churches out there. Well, wouldn't it be nice if some of these churches get involved and start donating some of this, you know, some funds to help the school and to help this community? This is about the community, y'all. This is about these young folks in the community. If we don't get involved in this,
Absolutely.
you know, I don't know what y'all want to get involved in. This is it. You know, the Dayton School. Look that up. You have the information. We'll put the information on the screen where you can contact Dr. Huggins, and it's time to make this a success. Now, I tell you what, once you get the school up and running, Dr. Huggins, I'm going to come to the school. me and the producer of this show, which is Kurt, we're going to come and we're going to do a show from the school once you get it up and running. How's that?
That'd be great, and I would love for you to interview some of our students and our families so we can show that we're not just talking. We are very serious about giving back to this community. Like I said, I grew up on the west side of Dayton, and I've seen so many things leave Dayton, and it is just so sad, and I just want to empower our community and tell y'all we can do this, and it starts with education, and we can really grow our community through education, and I'm just so excited.
Well, I'm excited too, and I look forward to interviewing you when the school's open. Hopefully, we'll be at the open, and we'll talk to some families and parents and students, teachers. We'll talk to everybody. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, well, Doctor, I thank you for showing up, and hopefully in the future we will do another taping from your school. The Dayton School folks, get involved. Thank you, Dr. Huggins.
Thank you.
Well, you know what time it is? It's the scam alert. Scam alert. And on this week's scam, overpaid utility bills. You may get a robocall, and it may sound something like this. You get a robocall saying you paid too much on your utility bill, and to make up for this mistake, they say you'll get a cash refund and a discount on your future bills. And then they'll tell you to press a number to get the money and a discount. And man, you may say to yourself, man, that's a winner. I got a little money coming back. That's a scam, folks. If you press that button, what'll happen is they'll continue to give you these robocalls. They'll continue to come. They'll continue to bother you. It's a scam. If you overpay on a utility bill, the utility company will take that money that you overpaid and put it on your next bill cycle. So don't fall for this, folks. Don't fall for this gimmick. You know what I mean? So if you get a robocall and they say you overpaid and they're going to give you a rebate and money's coming back, don't fall for that, folks. They hunting for information, because if you answer that call, they're going to ask you for some important information. They want your social security number. They may want the card you pay a bill on. They may want a bank statement and all that kind of stuff. That's what that is. That's phishing. That's what they call it. They call it phishing, to try to get information. You're not going to get anything back. The only one going to get something is the scammer on the other line if you give them that information. So don't fall for the utility bill overpaid scandal. You'll get those calls. I guarantee you. I got a couple of them too. So I just hang the phone up. That's what I suggest you do. So pass the word. That's the scam alert. All right. Moving on. The Dayton area agencies using special teams on mental health calls. You remember that the police departments were going out on mental health calls, and some of the police officers weren't equipped to even handle people with mental issues. Well, Montgomery County and 5 other jurisdictions, this come out of the Dayton Daily News, by the way, February 24th. It says 5 local enforcement agencies hope to reduce repeat 911 calls and jail admissions involving people with mental illness. And what Dayton, Vandalia, Kettering, Butler Township, and Montgomery County Sheriff's Office have launched a pilot program that partners officers with intervention specialists. Now, this is important, folks, because the intervention specialists are coming from Eastway Behavior Center. And what they will do, if they get a call, the police, they have 2 people on hand to ride along with the police and to handle the call if it's a mental illness issue. And these specialists will intervene and make sure when they get there, that person who has the illness or needs some attention, they get that attention. So I applaud the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department for doing this, and also Dayton, Vandalia, Kettering, Butler Township, who are doing this. That's a step in the right direction, because we've seen how fatal some of these calls can be when the police interact with people who have mental illness. The police perceive that as a threat, and they will do what they have to do to stop the threat. Well, in this case, if an intervention specialist is there, they know how to communicate with those people to de-escalate the situation, and hopefully everybody can go home and that person can get some help, and his family can also be satisfied that he won't be locked up and misused and abused in some jail that the person shouldn't be sitting in anyway. So that's a good one. That's a good thing. The other, DPNL. DPNL, after 110 years, Dayton Power and Light will change its name to AES. Now, DPNL been around for 110 years. Just the name is going to change to reflect AES Corporation own recent rebranding. Now, what's going to happen is nothing's going to change except the name. So the services and everything you get from DPNL will be the same, but on the bill and on the vehicles and the uniforms, it'll be AES. And so in the next couple of months, if you're looking for DPNL truck, it won't be a DPNL truck, it'll be an AES truck. The only thing going to change is the name. The service that they provide will still be there. There won't be any reduction, there won't be no increase, won't be any of that stuff. All the people work there, they just have a different uniform, and you'll continue to pay your bill like you have been paying, but it'll be AES. So keep that in mind. If you see those trucks rolling around, probably by May or June, you should start seeing some of those trucks with AES, and you'll be wondering, where's DPNL at? DPNL just changed their name. So that's what that's come down to, folks. So be on the lookout for that. The next issue, remember I did a report on the Employment Opportunity Center that the Montgomery County Commission had signed off on. Well, guess what? They just signed in with St. Clair. They got an initiative with St. Clair about IT jobs with focus on West Dayton residents at the new Montgomery County Employment Center. Now, what happened is West Dayton residents will soon have improved access to information technology apprenticeship and entry-level IT certification through a new agreement between Montgomery County and St. Clair. And the program, it'll be hopefully by the end of the summer. I think the program will be up and running. The Montgomery County Board of Commissioners approved a memorandum of understanding with St. Clair to bring apprenticeship services and other educational opportunities to the new Montgomery County Opportunity Center scheduled to open this summer. Now, if you want some more information about that, this community center, this thing, it's going to be nice. It'll have cafe, it'll have community rooms, it'll have youth rooms, it'll have work stations, board rooms, and private rooms which you can rent. It'll be in Westtown, and Montgomery County has teamed up with St. Clair to offer apprenticeship for IT jobs, and the IT department of Montgomery County will be spearheading this thing. So this is a good move, folks. This is a good move for West Dayton and West Dayton youth who wants to go into information technology. I believe if you want more information about that, you can probably find it at the montgomerycounty.org website. So get on board, folks. Things are happening. Montgomery County is not slowing around. They're picking up the pace and make sure that some residents meet some of the needs that we face in the future. Now, Norwood Medical plans to open a 10th plant building. Now, if you don't know what Norwood Medical is, Norwood Medical has received zoning approved to move forward with construction of a 33,000 square foot near campus at McCook Field. So in the McCook Field neighborhood. Norwood has already been there. They've been there for a while, but they're expanding. The company, a medical device manufacturer, plans a new light manufacturing factory on about 1.8 acres vacant property at 2043 Webster Street. And this is going to bring some jobs, folks. Under the agreement, the company said it will create at least 40 full-time jobs with an annual salary of $34,000. So that's Norwood Medical, and that should be done by probably this summer. If you want to look that up, I know they probably have a website. If you want to apply for one or two of those jobs or whichever, then go right ahead. That's in, I believe, North Dayton is where McCook Field is. So I'd like to applaud Norwood Medical for staying in Dayton, expanding in Dayton, creating jobs in Dayton. That creates a tax base in Dayton. Hey, if you look for stuff, you'll find it. If you look for the good and stuff, you'll find it. So Norwood Medical, that's a good thing. Here's a report by the Southern Poverty Law Center that estimates 160 Confederate monuments were taken down in 2020. Now, you remember there was a lot of issues that people were talking about, these Confederate monuments and statues and plaques that was, on public property. Well, there's estimated about, estimated 2,100 of these things around the United States. And what these monuments are, they're Confederate statues and Confederate generals, and we all know what the Confederate was. You know, they rebelled and tried to fight against the United States to separate from the United States. They had their own flag. They wanted their own piece of land down there and do whatever they wanted to do. Basically, they wanted to keep slavery. They wanted to keep us slaves. They didn't want to let nobody free. You know, y'all, we'd be picking cotton from now. We'd probably be still picking cotton. But anyway, some of these statues and monuments have come down. Hopefully there's some more of them to come down because it's just a sign of white supremacy. White supremacy is all it is. They believe they were supreme. Want me to tell you who's supreme? It's not man. It's not black man. It's not white man. It's not any other colored man. Only God is supreme. Man didn't create itself. If you created yourself, then I'd say, well, you are supreme. You didn't create yourself. God created you. And whatever religion you want to say, you didn't create that. It was a God that created that. That's the only supreme. We got different talents. Some play sports very well. Some in education. Some in arts. We do different things. But I don't think the next man's any better or any worse than I am. We just got different talents. Some of us born into wealth. Some of us born poor. Some of us born poor and get into wealth. Some of us have wealth and go down and get poor. It's the choices you make. We all have choices to make. You know what I mean? So this white superiority, it has no ground here. We shouldn't normalize white supremacy. And that's what these statues are attempting to do. So the more these things come down, the better, because it's not needed. You know what I mean? White folks, you ain't supreme. Supreme over what? I'll leave that alone. That's another topic for another show. I'm not going to get into that. I'll keep it moving. Republicans push anti-protest laws in 25 states and protects drivers who hit demonstrators. I got this out of the Root, which is an online magazine. You can look it up yourself. What is happening since the George Floyd protests? You remember the George Floyd protests, and we had a lot of Black Lives Matter protests, and there was people all protesting all in the street. Well, what these people have done in Oklahoma, they come up with an intimidation bill. That's what they call it. What this does is it makes it illegal to assemble and block the roadways, as you've seen some of the protesters out in the street. Well, these things, they're going to penalize the protesters who spill onto the street and with racketeering and other crime status. And if somebody who's in traffic, if they want to drive their car through the protesters, they're putting bills together to say these people will not be charged with a crime. You heard it right. If the protesters are protesting in the street, if a car coming down the street drives through the protesters, injuring, killing folk, this bill will not allow the prosecutor to prosecute these people. That's where we're going, folks. That's where the Republican Party is at. That's where it's at. They let these people drive through and kill people, possibly kill people, protesters, and they let them off the hook. That's where we're going with this stuff. I didn't make this up. You can read it yourself. You know what I mean? Read it yourself. You can Google. The headline says, Republican push anti-protest laws in 25 states, protecting drivers who hit demonstrators. That's the headline. You can read it for yourself. Didn't make it up. You know what I mean? These people have lost their mind with voter suppression. When I say these people, I'm talking about the Republican Party, folks. That's where the stuff coming from. They're coming up with these anti-voter suppression laws. Now they're coming up with laws to let people just run over protesters and walk free. Have these people lost their mind? Who would come up with a law like this? It's insane. And these people get on TV and they talk like that with a straight face with this nonsense. Man, come on, is that the best you got, Republican Party? Is that the best you got? You don't have no infrastructure plan? You don't have no health care plan? You ain't trying to help out with the COVID-19? You ain't trying to, no jobs plan? You got a plan to let folks off who run over protesters and then charge the protesters? Is that it? I guess that's it, folks. Man, that's a head scratcher. I'm gonna scratch my head. That's a head scratcher. See, I'm scratching my head? That's a head scratcher. Lord have mercy. But anyway, well, I'll move on. Illinois has become the first state to completely eliminate cash bail as a result of a push by state legislators to end the practice they say keep poor people in jail for months awaiting trial. This unfortunately affects Black and Latino defendants. Now, what this does is it limits these judges, because once you once you put in jail, right, you got to pay a bail. Cash bail. If you don't have money for the cash bail, then you sit in jail till your trial comes up. Now, if you got the money, you can get out. You pay the bail, you get out. But if you're poor, you know what I mean? Just because you're in jail doesn't mean you're guilty, right? You haven't even got to court to prove your guilt or innocence. But you can't get out of jail because you don't have the money. And Illinois has become one of the states to eliminate this thing. And also New Jersey, California, New York has also had limited use of the cash bail system. And one of the cases that this thing highlighted, there was an individual named Khalif Browder. He was 16 when he was held for 3 years in Rikers Island. And his family couldn't afford the $3,000 bail to get him out before the trial come up. And he did get out of jail after spending 3 years in Rikers Island. And if you know anything about Rikers Island, that's one of the toughest prisons in the United States, from what I understand. And this kid was in there for 3 years before his trial came up because his family couldn't afford the money. And when he did get out, 2 years later, he committed suicide. So hopefully some other states will start eliminating this cash bail and stop letting these judges just, put the bail at anything they want. Because we know some of these judges, they look at the defendant and they do one thing for one defendant and do something else for another. You know, these judges are not colorblind. They see, and you've seen some of these cases where, one Black defendant gets 40 years, white defendant does the same thing, and they only get a slap on the wrist, probation. Y'all seen it. I ain't even got to bring it up. Last but not least, civil rights icon and political advisor Vernon Jordan dies at 85. Vernon Jordan was an iconic civil rights leader, a presidential advisor, and a lawyer who held leadership roles in United Negro College Fund, also the National Urban League, and worked in Georgia, field secretary for the NAACP, and also was director of the Voter Education Project for the Southern Region Council. And Vernon Jordan he was back doing civil rights stuff, man, when it wasn't even popular. His name didn't get a whole bunch of attention because he did things from internally. He wasn't always out there on the front line, and he got overshadowed by some other civil rights people that was leading the cause. But Vernon Jordan, who started he started and helped out with the Urban League. And if it wasn't for Vernon Jordan, as Mark H. Morale has stated, he's the president and CEO currently, he said the National Urban League would not be here today if it was without Vernon Jordan. So I just want to bring up Vernon Jordan because, some of our civil rights icons, they're older now, and they're starting to die. But hopefully, we got a lot of people coming up who's looking to carry the mantle, because as we see today, some of the same things we fought for back during the 50s and the 60s, we're fighting for today. Voting rights. Now, who would thought in 2021 that we'd be fighting to keep folks voting? But here we are. You know what I mean? Here we are. Sometimes people like to regress. But let me tell folks something, especially these Republican folks who want to do all this voter suppression, all that kind of stuff. You thought that people wouldn't stand in line for 10 or 12 hours to vote, but they did. You thought that these organizations who was out there on the ground doing the groundwork and getting people registered and then taking people to the polls, you thought they wasn't going to be successful, but they were. You thought that these people wasn't going to show up because you closed the polls early, you tried to restrict folks from being absentee voting. You thought that was going to help you win, but it didn't. So now you come with some other stuff, Mr. Republican, Ms. Republican. Now you come with some other stuff. But let me tell you something. You have never met a people so resilient than the ones you're trying to suppress. We ain't going nowhere. You can close the polls, you can do whatever you want to do, but we will vote. And we will vote, not for you who's doing these voter suppression measures. You won't get that. And let me tell you something, Donald Trump lost the popular vote by 7 million. 7 million, wasn't even close. And I tell you what, in the States, y'all want to continue with this stuff, you go right ahead. But we will call you out, and we will get to the polls. We stood in rain, we stood in cold, we stood in heat, young and old. Folks brung meals to folks standing in line. We will do it again. Just keep on with your voter suppression. You ain't gonna be successful because you're on the wrong side. See, when you're on the right side, you're successful. When you're on the wrong side, you gone down with the devil because you're doing devilish things. So I just want to bring that up. But that's a show for, that's a topic for another show. Well, I'm at the end, y'all. This is, as always, a continuation, folks. Hopefully, I'll be back in the next couple of weeks with some more news. And I always appreciate you watching. May God bless you and your family.